Hello, everyone, and welcome to Commoner Law Group's monthly gathering. The Free Traveler Monthly Confab happens every first Tuesday of the month, and we get together. We discuss all number of topics related to the motor vehicle fraud that's been perpetrated on we the people over the many, many years that people have been going here and there in their automobiles. Uh, the the powers that be have figured out a way to make money off of us and to turn what maybe originally started off as a good idea to quote unquote keep people safe has gone way off the deep end and has become just a money making scheme with endless rules and regulations. And it's Happy New Year to everyone, which means that as the first of this year, those rule lovers, those rule followers who just are so eager to follow every final rule, every last rule that the state throws at them, are going to get a whole new set of rules that went into effect as of the first of the year. So again, thank you for being here. It's a wonderful time to be together. David James Rodriguez, my co-host, is here as usual to help create this wonderful conversation about freedom and freedom to go our way on the roads without having to have to ask permission from the government and pay for the privilege. How are you doing, David?
Hey, Clint, happy 2024. Great to be with you. And always an honor to co host with you. We're almost on 2 years with the Free Traveler Monthly Confab and excited to meet Paul James. Hello, sir. Thank you for your activism as well. And I had a great realization about the right to travel. I can't remember where I heard it or it came up, but the First Amendment says the humans have the freedom to assemble. So if I need permission to travel on my own private conveyance and capacity, then I'm not free. And the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and religion is just as important as the right to travel. So I think that was a kind of a big aha for me as well. Many of you know I was a right to travel activist for many years, and just the pandemic stuff in Santa Cruz made me a target, and I got arrested multiple times. And so it's great to be with you all because there is a mass great self ownership awakening that's happened. And realize, as you said, Clint, we're being extorted and robbed in mass. And this truth is coming out, and we're just happen to be on the front edge of it. There's a lot of people who are just discovering this for the first time. So it'd be great to hear Paul talk tonight. We can ask him some questions and hear other people, on your experience and the importance of traveling and knowing who you are and your rights on the land because people are starting to awaken. And the question that we come across, Clint, is like, what do we do? So, Clint, you and I have made some courses, and Clint has a lot of courses of like, how do you do this? And you got to take action. That's what you got to do. So, what an honor to be with you and to meet you, Paul, and to hear from everyone else tonight. But yeah, there's a great time to be alive. 2024 looks like it's going to be full of excitement, surprises, uncertainty, and hopefully more freedom, love, and courage and victory on the land. And who knows what's going to happen? But today's the day to be here, and it's just a joy to be with you, Clint, and everyone here.
There's definitely something afoot in the land. I really am optimistic for this coming year. There is a lot of discussion about these kinds of things that just didn't happen before. And that's the first thing, that just the fact that people are talking about it and questioning it and starting to reconcile themselves with their own mentality. You got to do something. You're right. We got to take action manifestly in the world to demonstrate who we are and what we stand for. And so often that means facing down the tyrannical agents of government and others. But the work is also inside. We all, and I continuously, are doing the internal work to find the sovereign man in myself. I was raised in, I was born in 65, so I was raised in the 70s and the 80s. And guess what? I was taught to be a good person, you follow the rules. So it's so deeply embedded in me. I have to continuously work on that. And these monthly confabs are great because every single time I get something from you all, whether it's a distinction or just a mind-blowing whole new concept about how to relate to myself and my fellows on the land as free men and women without having to take recourse in the government telling us what to do all the time. So yeah, I really feel that 2024 is going to be a wonderful opportunity. And in the invitation I sent out to tonight's event, I included a video of a roadside encounter, which we love to watch those roadside encounters. This one was successful. It was sent to me by Paul James as an example of the kind of exchange that you can have roadside. And what's unique about it is that it goes beyond just simply saying, I'm not on the road for commercial purposes. I'm here a private person in my private conveyance, just traveling, and therefore the statutes don't apply to me. But they go further to really leverage. This fellow on the video leverages the Bill of Rights. He references the Bill of Rights in our Constitution, which are a way of expressing our natural rights. And so what we get in this video is another instruction on what it means to be a free man or woman, and how in the past, those founding fathers we speak about had the wisdom to put together the Bill of Rights. And you may have also heard of the Miranda rights, which is a funny term, but it's named after a court case with Miranda as the defendant. So now that's why law enforcement read you your rights when they arrest you. So, rather than the law enforcement agent who's now become the judge, jury, and executioner, and the law enforcer all in one, you get pulled over, and the mentality for most people is that that's it. It's over. I'm guilty. I have to pay. There is no due process whatsoever. And due process is obviously a critical component of any freely arranged group of people, as well as the separation of powers, which means that the law enforcement part of the executive is separate from the judicial, who actually looks at the facts. So we need to have that separation of powers. And this video was wonderful and instructive in drawing out these very important distinctions, and it ends up in the end being a kind of a hack, in the sense that the road pirates have learned how to intimidate us and use our ignorance against us to basically lock us up and fine us before we even have a chance to do anything about it. And we can watch it and really admire the power of hacking the roadside conversation by bringing up the Miranda rights that we have. How can you demand I provide you evidence that you could use in a court of law against me, when you've just told me that I have the right not to give you such evidence?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir. And with the Texas Highway Patrol, you're stopped today because your speed was confirmed over the speed limit back there. Let's see your license and your insurance, please.
So you're saying I violated some sort of transportation code?
Yes, sir. Speeding.
Okay.
I need to see your driver's license and your insurance, please, and we can talk.
Okay. Well, I'm letting you know that I'm not here in a commercial capacity.
Okay.
I'm not carrying people for a fee, and I'm not carrying any cargo for a fee.
Okay.
I'm actually just traveling.
Right.
So those laws are actually for commercial reasons, not for personal reasons, not for...
Okay, sir. Yeah. I just need to see your driver's license and proof of insurance for the vehicle, okay?
Okay. I don't... There's not a crime that's been committed, so...
Yes, sir. The speed limit here is 65, and your speed was confirmed over the speed limit.
Okay.
You're traveling on a public roadway.
Okay. Again, that is... make sure we're recording this. That is for... There you go. That is for a commercial vehicle. I'm not a commercial vehicle. Those speed limits are set for commercial vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah. So, am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
Okay.
I need to see your driver's license.
Am I under arrest?
Technically, this is an arrest. You're not.
Okay.
You are not being placed under arrest and going to jail.
Okay. If this is a custodial arrest, this is a custodial arrest, right? Okay. What department are you with?
Texas Department of Public Safety.
Okay. What's your name? What's your name?
I'm Trooper Taylor.
Trooper Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Trooper Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Am I under arrest? Is this a custodial arrest?
Yes.
Okay. Can you go ahead and read me my Miranda rights, please? My Miranda warnings. You said I'm under arrest. Okay, that's the law. Is that now I want you to give me my Miranda warnings.
For what reason?
Because you said I'm under arrest.
That's right. Like I said, it's a traffic arrest. It's a traffic stop.
Okay.
Okay.
The law doesn't differentiate whether it's traffic or murder. Okay. If I'm under arrest, then you are required to give me my Miranda rights. Go ahead and give me my Miranda rights.
Okay. Alright. As evidence against you in court, you have the right to have a lawyer present to it before and during any questioning by peace officers or attorneys representing the state. If you are too poor to hire a lawyer, you have the right to have a lawyer appointed by the court to advise you before and during any questioning. You have the right to terminate this interview at any time. Now, I need to see your driver's license and your proof of insurance for the vehicle.
Okay, so you said I have the right to remain silent, correct?
Right. You don't have to
Okay.
say anything.
Right.
I need to see your
If-
driver's license and your insurance.
Anything I say can and be used against me in a court of law. Is
Right.
that correct? If I give you my driver's license
Mhm.
and I give you proof of insurance, you can use that against me in a court of law. So why would I want to give that to you? I'm gonna
Because
go
it is
ahead and
required
exercise.
by law.
No, you just said anything I say can be used against me.
Right.
So if I give you something, it can be used against me. Okay. Why would I give you something that can be used
Because
against me?
it's
You
required
told me
by
that.
law.
No, you told me that was a right. I have the right. So I'm gonna exercise my right to remain silent. I want my attorney since I'm under arrest. Okay. And I am going to exercise the fact that I can't give you anything because you can use that against me.
I'm not trying to use anything against you.
Well, you could, but you could, is the thing. You want to read those Miranda rights again?
Sir, to operate a vehicle on the roadway, you are required to have your driver's license, okay?
Sir,
And you're required to
if
follow
I'm
the speed
under,
limit.
if I'm operating under a commercial reason, okay? Not if I am just traveling. I told you I am just traveling in my private conveyance. So that law does not apply to me. So now you don't have probable cause anymore. Am I
Yes,
free
do
to go?
have- No, you are not free to go.
Okay.
Sir,
I suggest you call your supervisor right here because you obviously don't understand the law. You
Sir.
just read me my Miranda rights.
okay.
Okay.
Listen, I need your driver's license and proof of insurance. The faster we do that, the faster we can both get out of here.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're very clear on this. You read my Miranda rights. You want to read them again?
No, sir.
Okay. So I am not going to answer any questions. I'm going to remain silent.
That's fine.
I cannot give you anything because if I give you something, that you can use that against me in a court of law.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Sir,
Do you understand that?
understand what?
That if I give you something, you can use that against me in a court of law. Why would I give you something?
Because it's required by law.
Okay,
You broke the law. You were traveling at a speed
okay.
greater
If
than
I'm
the speed
under
limit.
arrest, I'll be glad to ID.
Okay, let me see some identification.
I give you a verbal ID.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, if you say I'm under arrest, then I'll give you a verbal ID. I don't see how I could be under arrest when I haven't broken the
Okay.
law.
What's your verbal ID?
Okay, first name is Edward.
That's EDWARD?
Correct.
Okay. So do you have a driver's license?
Sir, I'm gonna exercise my right not to answer any questions.
Okay.
Just as you read my Miranda rights.
Do you have proof of financial responsibility for the vehicle?
I'm going to exercise my right not to answer any questions.
Okay. All right. Well,
Am I free to go?
no.
Okay.
All right. So do you have any suspensions, any warrants on your license right now?
Sir, I'm gonna exercise my right not to answer any questions.
Okay. All righty, sir. Well, here's the deal. Back there at FM 523, your speed was confirmed at 92 miles per hour. Okay? Speed limit here is 65. So you are going to receive a citation for your speed today, okay? Do you have insurance for the truck?
Sir, again,
Okay, I'll check it on my
you're
side.
con-
Just
you're
hang on
conti-
one second. Alright, sir. You can just sign here on the X. And signing here, it's not a plea of guilt, it's a promise to make contact with the court. You're going to make contact with Judge Davis here in Angleton on or before February 6th. Alright?
can I see that?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I disagree with this.
Okay. You're not going to sign it?
I like my attorney now since I'm under arrest.
Okay. So are you going to sign this or no?
I would like my attorney, sir.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, this has all your information on it and what you need to do to be able to contact Judge Davis, okay? There's a phone number and an address on there, okay? All right, sir. Well, just be safe driving, okay? And slow it down a little bit.
intriguing,
was
right?
great, Clint. I never saw that video. I think it's only like a 6 or 7 minute video, but it's basically using verbal jujitsu. And you could see the cop, he wasn't a bad guy, but he's starting to process. Yeah, I just told you that you can stay silent, and now I'm demanding you give me something that I can use against you in a court of law. So you can kind of see his mind is the gears moving like, what am I a part of? I don't know if he thought that, but it kind of seemed that way.
I met Paul and with like so many wonderful people that we come across each other's paths, by grace. We're going to go deep with Paul because Paul's experience is really wide. He's talking about how we can recreate an entire free society or a new we the people, based on common law and the principles, some of which you're familiar with because of the Constitution of the United States, but really that precede the Constitution. And you're going to know from his accent that he comes from the land that gave us common law, which is England. So, Paul, thanks for being here.
I wanted to thank David and you. We're at the start of a new year here. It's already queuing up to be an epic year. I really think this is the year that we break the system.
Yes.
There's a lot of unpacking to do here, and for people that are new to this conversation, the people in America, England, etc., Australia, New Zealand, common law countries have just been totally brainwashed in their entire lives, particularly here in the United States, where we were brought up in our public school system to believe that authority or government is above us. And that the absolute truth of it is we are the American body sovereign. Government was created by the people to serve the people, to protect our unalienable rights, period. But we've all been indoctrinated to believe that these actors have this authority over us. And as you were saying, Clint, it does take a lot of unlearning and rethinking, right, as to, hey, they actually don't have any authority over us. It's something that you have to keep telling yourself. But the truth of the matter is they have no authority over us. I've been in this fight for 18 years. What we can bring forward at this point is there is no government. They're private foreign corporations masquerading as government at every level. When you talk about sheriffs and the police, they're pretty much agents of the bar attorneys, right? The bar attorneys tell what the sheriff can do and can't do. All of the paperwork that the courts are issuing today is what we call simulated legal process. There is no lawful process being issued by any court in the United States or the 50 states today. Everything is simulated legal process. What we've been doing here in Northern California is reseating our abandoned de jure county government, because what we realized goes back to what I just said. We don't have any government right now. They're all essentially bar-controlled, constitutionally banned foreign agents. As I say, I don't know how much you do know. I don't know what you don't know. I guess you've been unpacking this conversation for a couple of years. Well, let's just assume people don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead and play in your fundamental premises, because we do have a variety of folks who attend, from full-on anarchists to people who do want a constitutional government, some of whom want the grand old constitution that we have had restored, or some maybe say we need a new, better constitution that takes into account some of the failings of the constitution to really ensure our rights and freedoms. Yeah, so it's a mixed bag, and some people are just generally unclear. So it never hurts to just lay in a foundation of your very premises for what you say about governance itself, the proper role of government, and of course, to contrast it with reality, what we actually have, like you're saying, what is the truth of what we have today?
Let's start with a question then. What are we supposed to have? Article 4, Section 4. What is it we're supposed to have? Article 4, Section 4 says we're guaranteed a Republican form of government. And that's a Republican form of government down to the sovereign at the county level, the state level, and at the United States, right? And the bottom line is that under a Republican form of government, my rights cannot be infringed. I'm sovereign. I am the law. Where we find ourselves today is we've got these actors, and by the way, they are actors. You will not find anyone in office that has a bona fide oath of office and a bond. So at your county level, for instance, if you were to pull the bonds or the oaths of office for everyone in your county, you would find that every single oath is deficient. It's deficient in probably 10 different categories. Now, why does that matter? Well, it matters because the authority that government needs to operate was bestowed upon them from us. We're the sovereign, we're the American body sovereign, and we delegated limited authority and rights to government to operate inside a little tiny box called the Constitution. And the things that binds them to that Constitution to do the job is the oath of office. Now, in California, we know that we had the original 1849 Constitution, and then we miraculously find that they manufactured another Constitution in 1879, right? And that's what we call the corporate Constitution. And by the way, that Constitution was repealed on November the 8th, 1960. However, they claim that they're operating under the 1879 Constitution. And the 1879 Constitution says that they're supposed to have the oath of office given at Article 20, Section 3 of the 1879 Constitution. And not any of them in office have it. No one in office is operating under that Constitution, which was actually modified by We the People in 1952 to include 2 additional paragraphs that dealt with insurrection and treason, basically. So what I'm just telling you is no one in office in the state of California on the 58 counties has the proper oath of office. That includes all the sheriffs, all the police, etc. Now, why is that a big deal? Under California Government Code 1360, it says that everyone in office must have the oath of office given at Article 20, Section 3, which, if you look at it, includes an original paragraph from the 1849 Constitution and 2 additional paragraphs that were added by We the People in 1952. No one has that oath of office. So if you go to California Government Code 1363, 67, and 1770I, you will find if they don't have the oath of office, they're not in office. And if they're not in office, they can't collect a paycheck. So why is it they're, demanding, for instance, in Nevada County, where I am, the budget of the corporate de facto corporation masquerading as government here has a budget of $322 million. They're spending $322 million a year, even though they're not in office. And as you are well aware, because you told me the other day, one of the things you did when you started down this road was started to ask questions about, well, where are all these mandates coming from? How can they enforce that I have to stay at home, wear a face diaper, put a bioweapon in my arm, and all this other stuff? Well, the truth of the matter is they can't. Not just because the Constitution says they can't, is because they're not in office. And this goes up to what just happened in the Supreme Court in the last few days. I believe the Supreme Court just said, well, this guy can't prosecute Trump because he's not in office. He's masquerading as office. So what we've been doing over the last few years is educating people about this conversation. And right now there's a lady called Lisa McGee that's gone up to the Biden regime and pulled the oaths of office for everyone in the Biden regime. And wouldn't you guess it, no one has an oath of office. So we have no government. They're all imposters. And that goes down to the dog catcher, all the way up through Newsom, every single judge, DA. We are basically being occupied by Crown Bar agents. And some of your people listening to this may have heard something called the Titles and Nobility Act. The Titles and Nobility Act goes all the way back to the original Articles of Confederation. There was titles and nobility in Article 10 of the Constitution. And there was just because the founders were really concerned about this. Let's say, so in 1810, they enacted another Titles and Nobility Act, which took, it depends what you look at, but 3 to 9 years to enact, which meant that they had to get 75% of the then states to ratify it. The Titles of Nobility Act banned all foreign agents from government. And I'm sure some of your people on this call know that every BAR attorney is a franchise of the Crown. They're foreign. And what you will also know, or should note, is that not one attorney in California has the requisite license to practice law that's specified a Business and Professions Code 6067 and 68. So in totality, we are being ruled by constitutionally banned foreign agents, actors, criminals that are engaged in what we would call impersonating government. Now, under Title 10, Section 906A3, if we go look it up, it says anyone impersonating an official office is impersonating government and is up for military court martial. So that's where we're at. Now, you may have seen at 4 a.m. on the 1st of January of this year, 231 retired military and active military put a notice out basically saying they're going to hold the existing high-ranking military officials accountable under military court-martial for sedition and treason. So that is what's going on today in this country. And the horse has left, well, let's say the train has left the station. You cannot put this back in the bag. It's all coming down. I agree with your co-host. This year is going to be epic. What we did here in Nevada County is we went down a path to reseat our guaranteed Republican form of government that's given at Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution. Because when we petitioned them on November 22nd, 2022, and said, please show us your records as to when we, the people, the American bodies sovereign, gave you the authority to swap out our guaranteed Republican form of government for a foreign corporation ran by the bar. And their response was, we can find no responsive documents to your request. And so the bottom line is, we never gave them the authority. which means the offices were abandoned, which means it was established as a trust and they abandoned it. And as the benefactors of the trust, a trust cannot fail for want of a trustee. So what we did is we stepped up as temporary trustees until we can hold an official election, and we've started reoccupying that abandoned de jure county government that's guaranteed to be a Republican form of government. And what you actually find out, and I'm sure you're aware of this down in the Bay Area, is what we actually have occupying these governments right now is United Nations agents, if you like, that are all pushing their Agenda 2030, sustainability, and all this bullshit across the country as if everyone agreed to it. And of course we didn't agree to it. So that's where we're at. We know that the entire government or pretend government are actors, criminals engaged in sedition and treason. They're impersonating government, which under the Title 10 of the Military Code means that they're up for military court-martial, and there is no way out. So what we're doing now is helping people around or across the California do what we're doing here. And everything I've just said applies to the guys on the side of the road persecuting us for trying to travel. The right to travel is a right at common law that cannot be infringed. It's an unalienable right. And obviously what they've done is they've turned us into this corporate person. And just as we've been duped, these law enforcement officers have been duped, and the sheriffs have been duped, and the code enforcement people have been duped. So one of the things that we've been doing here, like you're doing here right now, is educating the local government here. So we've put a lot of information out, and we're just about to put a ton of information out in the form of a declaration to the county and the state of California and the United States that has basically informed them that unless they have any lawful or legal objection, we're going to receive a guaranteed Republican form of government on the county. And we issued them a 55 stipulation notice, basically asked them to, rebut anything as to what we are doing. And if they had any reasons as to why we shouldn't do it, we're going to go ahead and do it. So we've just written a declaration that I will share with you. Actually, it's in your Telegram right now. And we've got about 70 documents that we've issued over the last 3 years that validate everything that we've done and why. And these are the things that every county in this country, in this state, can stand on the back of. Because if they have no lawful legal impediment as to why we shouldn't receive a guaranteed Republican form of government, then the state of California has no lawful legal impediment as to why Alameda County shouldn't receive a lawful guaranteed Republican form of government. And the same goes for every other county across this state, all of which right now are under, let's just call it a crown occupation, if you like, because they're all being controlled by the law.
I do want to ask a couple questions. First, I want to acknowledge you because I think it's just perfect. It's honorable, too, that a people recognizing that the government is a fraud should invest its time and energy in actually going ahead and creating a proper Republican form of government and not just, say, trying to hack away or take up opposition to that fraudulent government. You're doing what was done perhaps before this nation even existed, that where organically people who lived in the same community, the same county, got together and asked themselves, how can we create a simple government that will ensure our rights and our freedoms and enforce only the most basic criminal laws. You know, if someone harms somebody, it's a good thing for a community to have someone to have law enforcement there to apprehend and handle the criminals in that land. Also, maybe some contract law to be enforced. But so I do want to acknowledge you guys for doing the right thing in the circumstances we find ourselves.
Right.
I do want to ask about travel. So everything you said was wonderful, and you know, in the long run, when you've reseated everybody and this new government that is of, for, and by the people becomes the law of the land, if you will, and then those people will obviously remove the vehicle code. But in the meantime, I don't know if you have any suggestions or advice or just general comments about what a person today could do, whether is it to deregister your car or to, you know, go back down to the DMV and hand over your driver's license, say, I'm revoking this. Is that going to be helpful? I mean, do we take up conversation roadside with the road pirate? Is that useful? Or do we do something in the administrative fake court system, kangaroo courts, to try to stop them from either taking our money or our freedom by putting a warrant out for arrest and maybe arresting us one day? I mean, what do you have to say about specifically people who want to exercise a right today to travel freely on the roads?
We've put the CHP on notice. We've put the sheriff on notice. We've put the police on notice. We've put the border supervisors on notice. We've issued a fee schedule should they violate anyone's right, which applies to anyone in the county. These are very poignant issues because, you know, there's a lot of people that are struggling with this. What I've done traditionally over the years is try to remove myself from their jurisdiction. So what I did was established a trust, a foreign association, and I've basically, those associations and trusts own the auto carriages that I use. So it's out of their jurisdiction. What I did was used South Dakota as a place to register those vehicles. Excuse me, not vehicles, automobiles. And I've been doing that for freaking years.
Well, technically, as a voter, you did register your vehicle, right? In South Dakota, your registration is of a motor vehicle, no?
Well, I'm trying to remember. I actually think I use language as automobiles there. But anyway, the point is, it's not in California jurisdiction, which causes them a problem. They'll tend to leave you alone. They'd rather just pull a California DMV vehicle than a South Dakota. So that's helped. I mean, I've had 9 stops by the police in about 13 years. What we've been doing recently, in fact, is we've been using a DOT process that basically allows you to utilize the DOT as a private motor carrier, not in commerce. And it's free. And it costs you about $25 to get the DOT plate. When they look it up, it's going to say private motor carrier, not in commerce, private. So that's something that we've started experimenting with recently. And we have people running out there right now with private carrier plates from the DOT, and they've not had any hassle whatsoever. We have other people, and I will send you 2 videos, Clint, that explains how this process works, okay?
Okay.
What we're also looking at right now, in fact, I called you on it earlier because I understood you had some information up on your site about decoupling yourself from the DMV, or other registration authority, right, like South Dakota. And so what we're going to do right now is write some kind of stipulation to basically say if they can't return the ownership papers for our automobile, then we'll presume that they've lost them, and we are just going to go ahead and have some new papers made up. We found an entity that will title your auto carriage in your name. So basically, the stipulation of material facts by agreement of the parties that we serve on the DMV will be written in such a way they cannot get around it. And that will then sever our relationship with the DMV in California. And obviously, it's a big scam, right? They've got everyone registering as a commercial vehicle, commercial license, and they get, I don't know what the number is, 20 million people having to get a driver's license, when in fact, there's probably only a couple of million people that actually need one. The other thing, and I know there's mixed feelings about this, the fact of the matter is that you only need a California driver's license for commercial travel, not travel, so the commercial use of a vehicle. Some people we know just don't want anything to do with them, and they've done a rescission on the California DMV, which is a DV-142, and that basically cancels your license. My understanding is they'll use that license. They go in there for about $10,000 every year and charge that license. It's just a chart of the Cestui Que Vie, right? Sitting at the Treasury, a child account. So, they're making gobs of money out of this scam. And so I was one of those guys that did that. But I do know other people that have managed now to get a DMV with a care of address, so you're not a resident, and they've signed it BY : all rights reserved, and they've managed to get that driver's license issued. We also know that driver's license issued in the name of a straw man. That's not us. So the other thing you can do is a durable power of attorney, absolutely clarifying that isn't you. The other thing that we educate all our people on is whenever they're stopped, we always make sure they sign it as an agent. BY : all rights reserved, etc. You can go UCC 1-308, UCC 1-103, etc. And that's been very effective. We actually operate something called the Living Law Society. And my partner, he has 50 years in this fight. I got 18 years, and we work with people with 20, 30 years. So we help a lot of people in all sorts of situations. So we help people that don't really understand what's going on. They come to us and we will help them do a rescission on that ticket. Obviously, all the law enforcement are trying to do, not that they know it, they're trying to hack the Cestui Que trust, right? It's probably $10,000 an infraction. I understand then it goes up to, once the state gets hold of it, I believe it goes up to, I don't know, I've been told 40,000 to 100,000. And then the feds get a hold of it and you times that by 10 again. So they're in the business of hacking the Cestui Que Vie trust. There is no law broken. It's commercial. It's all bullshit. It's a contract. You have the right to rescind any contract for fraud, duress, mistake, etc. And that's in their code at California Civil Code 1689B1 and California Civil Code 1567. So we just write across these stipulations, we write our rescission across the ticket and send it back. And ideally under buyer beware law, because it's a contract, a consumer credit contract, you have 3 days to rescission it. The fact of the matter is, though, if that contract is subject to fraud, which they all are, then you can rescission it at any time because there's no statute and limitations on fraud. And that's where we go back to California Civil Code 1689B1 and California Civil Code 1567. So you can rescind those. Sometimes the courts like to keep pushing them forward. We'll do a stipulation of material facts by agreement of the parties, and generally they will go away. I'm just thinking of a couple of guys that have had speeding tickets doing 89 miles an hour and 93, whatever. They've just been rescissions and they've gone away. I don't recommend that people that aren't long in this fight try and have a conversation with the police if they're, unsure of themselves. But certainly those that are more studied in this, we do try and educate the peace. And I do send them letters that will educate them. I will serve them up with the stump letters and notices from various United States legislatures that have been given out to law enforcement and sheriffs to basically tell them that, hey, you guys have you seen some of these letters? There's one called Wayne Stumpf. Basically, he issued a letter to law enforcement warning them that people are out there rescinding all of their contracts. And whilst this may be unusual, it's totally legitimate. And there's another letter out there from another agency at the federal level telling law enforcement in that county to beware. These people know what they're doing and they're completely, totally liable. So the bottom line here, though, is we absolutely have the law on our side. Even the United States codes absolutely protect us. And what people have got to do is they've got to get literate. We talk about financial literacy and understanding the law. And once people understand the law, they will feel totally empowered and they will not worry about this crap anymore. We absolutely have the law on our side. We have a class every Saturday up here. We've been doing it for a couple of years. Where we get 20 to 40 people come in and we talk about all these subjects. And we've been educating people up here. We have probably 700 people who've gone through the assembly. As you know, just some of the diehards are the ones that stick around, but a lot of people in this county know what's going on now because of the work we've been doing here to educate the people. And that's what needs to happen in every county across this state. And you know what? We got to understand that a lot of these law enforcement guys were equally dumbed down as we were before we knew which way was up, right? So I encourage people to be as patient and understanding as they can with these guys. Just treat them as brothers and sisters, human beings that have been dumbed down and lied to. The buck really stops with the bar. The bar association are the ones that are running these counties, that are running the law enforcement. What we've also done actually is serve notices on the Supreme Court Justice for the state of California all the way through administrative process through a default. And we've basically told her that you don't have the authority to be operating in these administrative courts anymore in this state. And we've sent that notice up to the military to go and shut them down and take over them. We put them on notice is the bottom line. The other thing that I want to make sure everyone's aware of in here, and Gorsuch at the Supreme Court from November 29th basically said, he was telling an attorney for the SEC that they had no right to manufacture these fake courts and trample over Seventh Amendment rights of the people. And but that might be the death knell. Someone wrote an article after that was published, and it said Supreme Court has just, I think the word was, killed the United States government, because what is stated, not in such blatant terms, but anyone that knows what's going on will know that every court operating in the United States is an administrative court. We can look at the Department of Labor, the SEC, all of the 530 so courts across California are administrative courts. They don't have any right to foist us into those administrative courts because we're supposed to be before brought before a common law court with a jury of our peers, the right to trial by jury. And obviously all these bar courts are foisting us in there because they want to hack this Sestakay trust. So anyway, this thing is damning.
Thank you, Paul. I can let folks know that there will be more coming from Paul in all of these various angles. We're going to apply it tonight, however, to the roadways.
Paul, thank you for the dedication that you've made, 18 years and your buddy there. This is a big awakening. A lot of people realize this. My question for you is, you've rescinded people's tickets. Is there any other approach that you have other than this rescinding tickets? Like, do you do private plates, or do you put nationalist plates on your car? What other suggestions might you have for not participating in the system? Or is the best way you think is to get involved with the rescinding of tickets, sending notices to the officers? I'm kind of curious, is it like all these are good approaches, or do you have one approach where, like, if we can get everybody to do this, then, you know, we can break free from the driver's license tyranny?
I will share with you the DOT process. Basically getting plates as a private carrier, not in commerce. So far, it's the best thing I've seen, because when the CHP or the police look up that plate, it's going to say private, non-commercial. And that's exactly what we want it to say, right? So at that point, they don't have any right to ask us for a commercial driver's license, and they don't have any right to ask us for insurance. So I'm doing that right now myself. I've got 4 automobiles, and I'm going to put that same plate on all of them. And on the ticket side, yeah, I think a rescission is it's a quick and easy method to rescind the ticket. And then after that, if they, still want to play batting, still want to play tennis, then we have ways of dealing with that as well. And I'll share that with Clint.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Let's hear from Erica. We've got a juicy one, right?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you
Hi,
for
welcome.
hearing me. After listening to you guys, I was empowered to drive freely, only I didn't take my plates off my car. And so the cops got me for expired tags, not having my registration up to date, not having insurance, and they claimed that I ran a red light, which was how all this started. And when the cop pulled me over, he didn't take my license back to his car. He already knew that I had already done all these things wrong. So he was very aggressive in his tone with me. And then he wanted me to get out of the car. And it was 10 o'clock on a Friday night. And I weigh like 100 pounds. And this guy was like almost 3 times my size. And he was very aggressive. And I was alone. And so I said, why do you want me to get out of the car? And then at that point, I realized that I had rolled my window down too far. Like there was maybe only like 3 inches left to be rolled down all the way. And my door was unlocked. And he tried to open my door when I went for my phone to make a recording of what was going to happen. And then he entered my vehicle and grabbed my hand with a tactical move and went like this and tried to break my arm in between my driver's seat and my passenger seat, and then hit me like this and cracked my neck and hit me so hard my earring came out of my ear, which I found in my vehicle after I got out of jail. They strip searched me at county. I was thrown into the back of a cop car after that, and when he dragged me out of my car, I keep tools. I'm in Arizona, in Yavapai. I was in Sedona when it happened, and it was the Sedona Police Department that did this. And overnight, a secret grand jury was run, and on Saturday morning, I was told that I was facing 4 felonies: aggravated assault of an officer with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault of an officer, and resisting arrest. And I have a hearing date on Monday, and I've filed some paperwork to basically tell the court that I'm not entering into their jurisdiction, but at my arraignment, the judge wouldn't allow the paperwork to be stamped in during the thing, so I filed it after. And it was basically declared witness testimony saying that I'm not I'm demanding all my rights back and, pointing out all of the fallacies of the fact that they're not even qualified to hear it because they're federal employees and it's not a real grand jury. And I'm a little stressed out over this, and I have someone who is assisting me. But when I was at my hearing last week, they basically denied my right to counsel of choice and railroaded me into 4 not guilty pleas. And now I have a pretrial hearing on Monday, and no time was waived.
Let's talk about this offline.
Yeah, that was all
Yeah.
over. You have an expired plates, and he pulled you over, and you just didn't want to get out of the car, and so he assaulted you, and then they trumped up all these charges. That's what the conclusion was, basically, and you got to face this this week or next week.
Yeah, and when he dragged me out of my car, I had tools in my car, and my crowbar came out of the vehicle at the same time that I did. It hit the ground at the same time, and I heard the cop go, "Uh-oh," and I was just like, "Oh, fuck."
So you have no video evidence, no audio evidence.
Well, I've requested, that's the funny thing. I've requested it, and I've been waiting for over a month for it. And I sent them another email again today demanding it because they keep saying that their redaction software isn't working. And so they're not able to give me a copy because every time they go to save it, the redactions don't work and they have to start again. So then they said that they were going to get the county attorney to send over a copy of theirs, but that was like, I think before Christmas, and I still haven't heard anything. So again, today I sent him a message and I was like, where is this?
Yeah. Well, they might play these type of games, and maybe Paul has some comments here, but just my comments and being, arrested and brutalized by these people. For listeners out there, I know it's not helpful right now for you, Erica, but you always want to, if you can, video record these people, ideally audio record. We're dealing with, as
well,
Paul
that's what
said,
I was trying. That's what made the attack happen. I was reaching for my phone to record it, and he opened the door and beat the shit out of me.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So yeah. So the 4 steps I generally have when I get pulled over is make sure my camera's rolling, make sure the doors are locked, make sure my windows are rolled up, and then you record on your phone as well. Unfortunately, we've as humanity, we've let these tyrants slowly brutalize us and alienate us from our free sovereign state or self-ownership state. So this is, I've been arrested multiple times, Erica, just so you know, and I've had the windows broken and pulled out and glass cut on my knee and trumped up charges. My guess is that they gave you those charges. Again, this is not legal advice, but they probably gave you those charges to intimidate you into a plea. And you might consider that, or you might consider going to trial. And, I'm curious what Paul says too. But for everybody watching, is that you want to have your doors locked and windows rolled up. I've had them reach through my window, pull me out, arrest me for being a passenger in my own car. So we're dealing with psychopathic organizations and these people, they're making salaries doing this. So your thoughts, Paul. We're praying for you, Erica. Everybody send a prayer to Erica. She's dealing with this spiritual warfare because yes, you are free. You're a child of the God Most High source, whatever you believe, and you are protected. And they're dealing with this psychological stuff, and so we forget this. So you're going to continue to have spiritual strength. And, this whole community is going to pray for you and the people out there because it's going to take us to break the paradigms. And I can't believe these trumped up charges that they just laid upon you when, like you said, you're a small woman. There's a big guy. There's a valid argument in front of a jury to say, you know what, it was late. I felt afraid, and I didn't, participate because of these reasons. So, have some peace of mind, even though the system is pretty corrupt. I do have some friends who have gone to trial and won because of one juror and stuff. So there are some good people there in the world and the community. But I understand the inner turmoil that you must be going through, Erica. So if Paul has any thoughts.
I just go on the attack myself. That's what I do. They don't have any oath. They're not in office. They can't collect a paycheck. They're engaged in sedition and treason. And they're impersonating government, which means they're up for military court-martial. I mean, what else do you need to know?
Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Paul.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
you, Paul.
Thank you. Yep. We'll talk again.
And Dave, I look forward to talking to you some more.
You bet.
Thank you, Erica. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Good night. Happy New Year, guys. Yep.
Yes, please do. Take care. Happy New Year. It's going to be epic. It's going to be so epic.
That's right.
It's epic times, and Erica's exemplifying the kind of tests that we're going to be facing as well. I send my prayers to you too. I look in the chat. There's people giving you blessings in the chat. Continue those blessings, please. Private Nobody, thanks for being here. It's great to see you.
How are you and the rest of you all? I wish you all a healthy and prosperous new year, and that we continue to get educated. I did want to confirm a lot of what Paul stated.
Yeah, you can confirm that the crown through the bar is really running the show.
For the most part, it has been almost from inception of this country. There were some things that were supposed to take place after the treaty. Like people often say that, yeah, they won on the battlefield, but they lost at the table. And there were a few steps that were supposed to be taken to make it a legitimate government. And it wasn't done. You had people like Dr. Edwin Rivera that did a lot of work in that area. And there's several other people that bring out that point. So what Paul was talking about, that we have no government, it's several steps from the beginning and also after the Civil War. So we do not have a legitimate government. That is so true. And as a result, you see it when you read a lot of the Supreme Court decisions. They're all over the place. There's no consistency. And they were talking about the recent case, they call it dicta, which a lot of times is not controlling, but there was sufficient information that was conveyed by the justice to show that indeed these administrative courts do not cut the mustard for Article 3 courts. We don't have Article 3 courts. And as a result, we have chaos everywhere. And a lot of it is going to come out this year. It started leaking last year, but a lot of things are going to happen this year. And I hope people are ready. One of the things that I'm pushing for right now, because I dropped everything for this point, is to have people to correct the status of their record with regards to the estate, the birth certificate estate. Because majority of the people are in what they call legal joinder with the estate, which gives them the authority over the body. We want to sever that. And to show how this recently was effective in a traffic court case, there was a lady that I was dealing with, about 7 charges, 2 were criminal. For 3 years, she had no problems with no plates or anything. Then all of a sudden in her area, there was a lot of activity. So finally, they caught up with her. They were citations for no driver's license, no insurance, no plates, got stopped a couple of times, they let her go. But in the area where she lives, they are they're coming down hard now on those types of people. And so she got caught up in it. But we put the notices and we served everybody. And when she went in, she answered. When they asked the name, she said, "I'm here for that matter." She didn't acknowledge the name. And when the judge went to ask her a question, she responded with a question: "Did you get my notice?" And that started the ball rolling between the clerk and the prosecution back to the clerk, and then the judge told her she's free to go.
Wow. So
And I had a whole script for her and the whole thing, and she didn't even need it.
So they probably saw the documents and said, just get her out of here. We don't want to deal with this. We want our money today, and she's not going to give up any money. So just dismiss the case.
Exactly. There was no money to be made because she separated herself as surety for the liability of the person. There's no money to be made. And the reason being is that the only thing that was before the court was the estate without the surety, without the trustee. And they had nothing to go on. And then the judge told her, you're free to go. And then they even sent her papers afterwards to get the record clean. But it was all about the status of the record that we corrected for them. Because if you don't do it, the presumption is that you are indeed a U.S. citizen and that you are in joinder with the estate. And to go on another point that Paul did, because we use that as an experience, because my foremost approach, and I agree with Paul, don't argue, be pleasant, take the ticket, and we ask about 3 to 5 questions, send it back, and the cases go away because they can't answer the questions. It's a form of rescission, but without actually acknowledging the agreement, because you can't rescind something that you don't acknowledge. So therefore, we don't really acknowledge it. We ask questions and we do it in honor, conditionally accepted upon proof of claim. And they never, when I say never, come back. And then it just, over the passage of time, it just comes off the record. So that's the foremost, but I wanted to try it with the assumed name certificate, and it worked like a charm. So the emphasis that I want to bring is that we have to correct the records that they are looking upon to attach you to it. Because generally speaking, if you have a driver's license, you have a bank account, you go to school, there's so many things that they connect you to the system. You have to break that. You have to divorce that. And once that record is established and you give notices to all the major agencies, there are about 20, as well as your bank account, your schooling, or whatever you're dealing with at the time, and you set the record to show that you are not it. And that everything that goes on in commerce, really, it's not about you. It's all about the estate. So that is a key component to coming out of the system, or you're utilizing the system to your benefit like a CEO does with a corporation. No liability comes to the CEO unless he commits a crime. That's how we're utilizing that. And that's my foremost purpose in life right now, besides people, getting right with their maker. And it's been working well with traffic situations also. I yield.
All right. Good news. Thank you.
That was
Fantastic.
amazing. Asking about their citations and charges is better than acknowledging it and saying, oh, I have to deal with these charges or deal with these citations.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bernadette, and I'm here in Northern California. And
Hi,
I have a
Bernadette.
question. Hi, Clint. So who was just speaking right now? What's his name?
Private Nobody.
Private Nobody. Okay, Private Nobody. I got a question for you. Was your notice in the form of an affidavit?
No, we don't use affidavits when referring to the living. Affidavits are for persons. We use what we call verified declarations. Has the same force and effect, but as another caveat is that you can express opinions that are concluded with facts, whereas with an affidavit, it's just the facts only. No, we use verified declarations. Now, if I'm operating in the office of name holder or attorney in fact, then you can use an affidavit for the person. And when I say person, I'm talking about the legal fiction.
For every document in the legal system, there's something that fulfills a similar principle in the law for the common law side.
Greetings, everyone. How are you?
How you doing?
Miss
I'm
Portia.
excellent. I'm excellent. Season's greetings, Happy New Year, prosperity, health, and all that good stuff for everyone.
Yes.
And my heart is breaking for Erica. I know
Same here.
it really is. So always great to be here. The learning is tremendous. You and David, I really can't say enough about you and this platform that you're doing, helping so many people. I recently had another encounter with the police for the same thing. You know, making a right on red in New York City is not allowed. So it's just nonstop. So Erica, I'm sending you good vibes, prayers, and God is going to be with you when you go there Monday. Just stand on Him and stand on His word, and you know, be as cunning as a serpent, but smart as a dove, as they say in the scripture, and just you're not there to do no harm. That's horrible what that police officer did to you. And for what? What laws did you break? Who did you harm? But they're just bullied and they're trained in this way to assault us and call us terrorists because we want to stand on our unalienable rights as sovereign men and women under God. And it's really sad. They need educating. They really do. When I was pulled over recently, it was like a van and like 4 cops came out of the car and on their speakers. And I was like, I just was like, what is this all about? Why? What law did I break? Who did I harm? Why you, oh, and that they were very nice. The one cop, oh no, this and that, but you made a right turn and red. And I was like, and I need all this fanfare with your emergency lights and all of you surrounding the car with flashlights. I mean, it's ridiculous. It was very nice and, back and forth, but I wasn't in the mood to fight with them at that moment because I had a tremendous headache. It was a long day. So I just gave him what he asked for so that I could move on, but it's really awful what they do. So my heart goes out to you, Erica. You're going to be fine. Between the gentleman who was on earlier, I hope he will take the time to help you. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much.
Great to hear your voice, Portia. Glad you're doing well and good positive words for Erica because it's psychological and spiritual. And I'm glad Portia said you're going to be fine. I second that motion, even though it feels like it's really bad. We've just been asleep for so long. And now when we do what's right, we follow our moral conscience and our spiritual values or personal values. Now we're getting pushed, we're getting tested. And as the great man says, I can't remember what he says, in order for you to have a testimony, you got to get tested. And I think that's all what's happening to us all right here because we're all being tested in all ways for the benefit of our inner man or woman or soul or spirit, depending on what you believe. So yeah, it'd be good to learn some of these things from Paul James. So thanks for saying that, Portia. And Erica, again, more intention for you to be okay.
I'm also concerned and moved by what Erica's going through, and I'm so grateful that she came at least to get the support from us, both material and spiritual support. Yeah. And I'm going to continue my prayers for her. I know God has a place for all of us, and this year's going to test us, but it's going to be glorious and epic, as Paul James said. This first of the year also means a lot of new statutes and codes and rules. So many go in effect. They were maybe passed last year at whatever point, but they go into effect at the first of the year. And I don't know, maybe some of you have heard of some new regulations or statutes in the vehicle area that you learned about in your state. We got in California, it's now illegal to park within 20 feet of an intersection in the direction of traffic, not the opposite direction, because to protect the safety of the pedestrians trying to cross the street. You see, if there's a car parked there, you can't see them, and then you're going to run them over and they're going to die. And so now where we have such restricted parking in so many urban areas, there's even less parking. But as we know, it's not about anybody's safety. It's just another way for them to collect more money. They've got this real estate called curbs, curbside, and they want to monetize it the best they can. And then there's also, I didn't quite understand it. I read a quick article, very quick paragraph about 6 cities in California being offered up as test beds for traffic light signals, automatic citations. I know that that's happening in other states, but I guess we haven't had it here. But starting yesterday, these 6 cities can go ahead and ticket you, and it doesn't even have, you don't have to be driving it. Just it's something. Apparently it's connected to your automobile, to your vehicle, so it's not even. They don't need your driver's license. Whoever's registered the automobile, if it goes over 11 miles over the speed limit, you get your ticket, and you're guilty, and you just got to pay, and da da da.
Yep, that's what it is here in New York. They've had that for quite some time. It's based on your plates. Once the camera takes your plates, the photo of the plates, you get the ticket in the mail. And like you said, it has nothing to do with safety. It's everything to do with money and the commercial system, the system of commerce.
And the irony is that they actually don't have jurisdiction to do that. There are people that are into what they call territorial jurisdiction, which shows that most police do not have jurisdiction beyond their police station. Everything they do outside of that is actually a crime.
You mean the building, the actual facility where the police department?
Exactly. That's where they have jurisdiction. Anything outside, they don't really have territorial jurisdiction. And people have been winning on that argument over and over again. So that's something, I haven't got too deep into it, but I do have the information on it. A lot of this comes from Dr. Edwin Rivera's work. And there's a guy on Telegram, he was on YouTube and Facebook. I forget his name offhand. And I downloaded a lot of his stuff, but I never got a chance to get into it. But a lot of people are winning on that issue, territorial jurisdiction, which they lack. I yield.
Bernadette again?
Yes, I just have one more question for everyone that's on this call. Out of curiosity, has anybody rescinded their driver's license?
Anyone raise your hand if you've rescinded your driver's license, actually gone down to the motor vehicles office and filed that whatever form they have.
It's a 1-page form and it's a half a page. It won't share it with you unless you ask for it. Has anybody rescinded? I rescinded my right to vote.
I've done it for other people. Actually, I don't have a driver's license, never had. I've been driving all these years and thankfully no problems. But I've done it for other people. And like you said, it's 1 page, is very quick. But what I do, I add an addendum to that form, given the reasons why, and that if I do come back in for the person, especially if they have a job that requires them to have a license, that they will come in solely as for commercial purposes only, but they have a right to travel without it outside of the commercial realm. I learned this from an attorney about 20 years ago. He basically said that forms are designed to restrict facts. Forms are designed to restrict facts. So it's your duty, if you're operating in commerce, to create your own record. And so we do addendums, allonges, or what have you to expound the record beyond the form. You have an inherent, just like Paul James was mentioning earlier, you have an unalienable right to travel that they cannot restrict unless you let them. Ayo.
All right. Great question to finish off with, Bernadette. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and open up our mics, everyone. Here we are at the beginning of a new year. Maybe you have some special blessings for us all. Let's all just pile on with a bunch of love and blessings because we need it. And it's an auspicious beginning to a new year. So let's just go ahead and open up your mics. Let's hear your voices before we head out.
Okay, preparation and perspective, embracing the year ahead, a call for faith and action. As we enter a new year, it's essential to reflect on the highs and lows of the previous year. Despite the troubling aspects of life, we should strive to gain more perspective and be prepared for what lies ahead. While chaos surrounds us, our aim should be to find happiness and fulfillment amid challenges. Many of us are dedicated to improving our physical and spiritual well-being, striving to distance ourselves from the commercial system. During these trying times, it's crucial to maintain faith and focus on doing what aligns with our values. This approach may involve difficult decisions, sacrifices, and standing for what is right. There will come a moment when we have no choice but to decide between good and evil. However, amidst it all, I wish everyone good health and urge you to seek the best in life. Let us persevere and do what is righteous in the eyes of our Maker. I want to emphasize that I'm not trying to dampen the mood. Instead, we need to be aware of what is happening in the world today beyond the United States of America. Our chief adversary works fervently, and we must counter it with our own zeal in our daily lives. With that, I pray everyone has a healthy, physically and spiritually, and a prosperous year. May you do good unto others and be a beacon of life, guiding others towards the truth. These are my wishes and prayers for all in the name of the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Amen.
Amen.
Yes,
Thank you,
well,
everybody.
yes. Sending blessings to Erica. Thank you, Portia, Private Nobody, Paul, James, Clint, yourself, Christy, Hank, Ellie, Orca, Crystal, Evelyn, Stacy, David, Stephen, Anthony, Noel, TT, Jamie, David D, Ever Rose, Stephen Brown, Lou B, Stacy. Hope I didn't miss anybody. 678 number, Bernadette, and everyone else here. And you can say something, but yeah, this is a second day of the year, 2024, and we've been doing this for almost 2 years, so we'll keep doing this every first Tuesday of the month to come here, bring the people, bring the stories. Some people are in, lows, some people are in highs. We're learning a lot from everybody, and we do have the unalienable right to travel. Thank you for mentioning that multiple times here on the call. And you're born free. You're the son or daughter of the Most High. There's nobody above you. So this is the awakening, in my opinion, the self-ownership that we are now tapping into ourselves, the love, the truth, the beauty, the forgiveness, the compassion, sending love to all the members here. And we'll see you guys again. And feel free to, like Clint said, to open up and share some words that you want to put out into the interwebs that people can reverberate with until next month.
Well, blessings to everybody on this call. I send you all love and light. Thank you for standing up for what's right. You're not alone, and this is going to be a great year.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for your support.
Peace and love to everyone. Much prosperity. This is an 8th universal year, so it's a year of infinite possibilities and manifestation. So we are all going to do well. We're going to all do our part to make this the best year ever. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Much love and light to everyone. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, David. And much protection and light to you, Erica.
Thank you.
Mhm.
God bless. Happy New Year.
The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord lays his face upon you and be gracious to you.
Yes, thank you.
So it is.
And so it is.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Beautiful.
Bye.
I love you all.
Love you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Peace
good
be
night.
with you all.